And welcome back to our Student Zone on our YouTube channel. My name is Gauri Rademeyer. I do the Fundraising and Communications for the Go for Gold Education to Employment program. Today on Student Zone, we have the privilege of interviewing Gauri Conrad, a Go for Gold alumni. Welcome, Gauri. I thought we'd jump straight into it and ask, how did you hear about Go for Gold?
Go for Gold came to our school in 2010, and I was in grade 10 at the time, and they introduced, it was Sis Vuyo and Miss Patty, and they came to the school and introduced the program and said they're looking for really hardworking students. And to me, it was just like, wow, this is like the first real opportunity that, came forth to me, and I was like, I spoke to my mother and I was like, Go for Gold came to the school and they said, they're going to assist us with maths and physics, and they're going to introduce us to the world of construction. And I was like, I know nothing about construction, but this was the first opportunity that I saw that I could actually progress in life. And I was like, yeah, I spoke to my mom and she was like, this sounds like a great opportunity. I should go ahead with it. And then we done an interview with Vuyo and Spatty. And yeah, they said I that was my first interview and it was successful, And so for me, that was really a big step, an exciting step, I've been at that time I started to really focus on my schooling. So, being in Mitchell's Plain, you exposed to so many things, and where I grew up, I was raised by a single mother in Mitchell's Plain, and I grew up in my grandmother's house, and it was a full house. So I'm talking uncles and aunties and cousins. It's quite a full house. And I grew up, being exposed to gangsterism, domestic violence, family members on drugs, suffering from alcoholism as well. So I had a really the rough childhood, and I just sat there, seeing the struggles that my family faced with poverty, with trying to get work, and just the everyday struggles. And I know that my family wasn't the only one with these struggles. I saw it in the community, in my neighbors. The gang violence in Mitchell's Plain as well was really rough at the time. And it's even worse now. I mean, I remember like weekends, you'd see the next day, you'd hear gunshots, and the next day, you'd see drops of blood on the floor. That's how we grew up. And I saw that in my own family, there was not a lot of successful stories out of my household. And I really needed to escape that cycle. And so I would say from grade 9, I already started to work hard. So that's where Go for Gold saw a potential in me that I was already putting in the work. And that's what Go for Gold does. They see these bright sparks and they know that these kids are willing to do something with their lives and they just need an opportunity. So yeah, I got that opportunity and I started with the classes. And yeah, I don't know what did I did answer
Yeah,
question. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. No, that's brilliant. And Shem, so you joined us, obviously, the Education Development Program, phase 1 starts for grade 11, and then you proceed into grade 12 in that, we call it EDP, Education Development Program. And you received extra maths and science tuition, as well as leadership development training and exposure to the construction sector via Go for Gold's partner companies, who are all construction and manufacturing concerns, of late manufacturing as well. How did the maths and science and leadership development help you?
Oh, it helped so much. So, in the developing schools in the communities, our maths and physics are not always the best because the teachers, I've heard of instances where some of the math teachers are actually not equipped to teach mathematics and physics. So I felt that I was getting the proper teaching, but I knew that it could be better. And our classes also, we can be 40 to 50 students in one class. You do not get the attention that you need. And so being able to get the extra math and physics classes helped my schooling so much. I'm sure my marks had gone up because I'm now being more exposed to lessons, or even if we did do the lesson at school, this would be then the second time I'm being taught the same topic, and that just reinforced it, and it was as if I'm studying basically. So all those classes, and it would fill the gaps in my education that I didn't know. So maybe my grade 8 or my even grade 7 and grade 6 mathematics was a bit shaky. Those extra classes then helped me to ask those questions. I know that there's a certain basic step that I'm not understanding. Can you help me? And the teachers filled those gaps. And the teachers were also great. I mean, they had great personalities. They wanted to teach. I feel that sometimes in the school system, teachers get despondent and a bit tired, of the same problem. So the teachers that teach at the extra classes, they are just really amazing, and they're also quite not sensitive, but they understand us. If I felt comfortable enough to talk to my teacher, you know what I mean. So I feel that those extra classes made the world of a difference, and the leadership classes. So at that time, it was life skills classes, I think it was. And so the life skills classes helped so much. Like I spoke about, in the communities, we have so many problems and a lot of trauma, especially the youth. We've been exposed to a lot growing up in the townships and the communities, and the skills classes taught us, that there's only certain things in our control and there's certain things that's outside of our control. That was the circle of control. And I always tell that story because I remember it to this day. It's such an important lesson. And at Go for Gold, we sit in a circle in the life skills class, and we will talk, and the stories that I've heard in those circles is good stories and these bad stories as well, like the students just opening up about what they're going through in their personal life. And then I say, okay, I have problems, but I hear these students have the same. But all of us, we had the same mindset. We wanted to break the cycle. We wanted to get out of that, and I was thinking about this interview, and I was like, I remembered the Michael Jackson song, "We Are the World, We Are the Future." And that song, it has a certain spirit, and I felt that spirit in the students, because born free. My year, we were all 94 babies, so we were born in 1994, and so we were all like this born free babies, had the same mentality of, we want to break the cycle, we want to progress, we want to change South Africa for the better. And I feel that, yeah, and it sounds quite dramatic, but that it really was like that, and the peers that I had at Go for Gold was like, they all, at least they wanted more out of life. And they were willing to put in the work. And so just being able to have peers like that, to have friends, and I'm still in contact with quite a few of my friends, and we've built beautiful relationships that I wouldn't have had that opportunity if it wasn't for Go for Gold. And yeah, I can speak on and on, but yeah, do you have another question?
No, that's wonderful. Another component of the education development program is the grade 12 camp, as well as the experiential site visits during the holiday program. What was your experience with those two things?
This is amazing. So I don't know, let's start with the site visits. It was my first time visiting a construction site, and we visited Perry Formworks. So we got to see how they do the scaffolding, and even the drawings and designs that they do there. We went to the Perry Formworks head office. I remember all of this, and this happened like 2012. This is over 10 years ago. And so that was really amazing for me, because that's when I saw, okay, this is what it's really about. And, preparing myself mentally for the gap year as well, where we do the actual work, we go to site. So that was really important, to get my head in the right space, that, okay, this is construction. This is what Go for Gold is about. And the camp, I've never been on a camp, eh? So that was my first time going on an outing away from home with my Go for Gold friends, and then we always do these fun activities at the camp, but it's also an opportunity to just get away, have fun, but still learn. And art is just amazing. We went to a place in Noordhoek, and there was like the sheep was a goat, and it used to like come into the stalls and then like disturb the students. And as girls, we would freak out. So I have made so many good memories. Like, oh, really. And the camp masters, which were the students that were a few years older, they got to be there, speak to us, motivate us, share their experience. And I think that was the greatest part about the camp as well. I remember there was the twins, Rob and Wayne, Ziona. I can't remember the rest of the mentors, but they were really important because they shared their story. They understood where we were coming from. And they were also really smart. These are best mathematicians and physics students here. So you got to ask them questions, and they were just really helpful. So it's only 1 day, 2 days of camp or 3 days, when it's a 1 hour, 2 hour site visit. But these are great memories that helped put a foundation for me for the love for the build industry. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. And that obviously acted as a source of inspiration for you. At what point in your grade 11 or 12 year did you realize what you wanted to study?
Mhm. I was still not sure. So I was thinking civil engineering. But then I was like, I'm gonna keep an open mind. I'm gonna go to site and then see what field interests me more. And so my whole thing about that gap year was to work with as many disciplines as possible. And I was able to do that. I worked with Avenge Clinica LTA. They set up a program where I would spend a few months with the safety officer, with the foreman, with the site engineer, the QS, and I got to do that. And because I had such an overall view, I could then make a better decision. And I ended up choosing civil engineering. And so, yeah, and because I worked on site. I was physically working on site. I was a supervisor at one stage because I built that trust with the site management, and they were like, you can do the section. And so I was a supervisor, taking the lead and giving instructions to quite senior people, But I done it with respect. I done it with being a team player. And that's when I started, with leadership skills, actually on site. And it wasn't easy because, I'm like 18, turning 19. It's a new environment. But it was really important. It shaped me to who I am today as well. All the things that make me who I am, I was able to express it and mold it and groom myself through the people that I met on site. I built good relationships, and then I saw, okay, that's another thing about construction. You build relationships, and I've met people. Actually, it was last year. Subcontractor saw me and he was like, your face looks familiar. Were you at Brackenfell in 2013? And I was like, yes, I was. And he was like, yes, I remember you were a student. So I was like, wow. And he remembered me from so long ago. So it just shows you like you build these relationships, and that's really key in this environment, in this industry. So yeah, that was my experience.
And we found that I think the golden opportunity that Go for Gold does give students is the workplace learning internship, the phase 2, the gap year, as you mentioned, because it actually helps students really understand where their passions lie within the industry. It motivates them, and it also obviously gives them the direction and practical application of when you're studying your subjects. You actually have seen it in action already, so you understand why you're studying what you're studying at your first year of tertiary. So yeah, no, that gap year, the workplace learning internship is really unique to Go for Gold, and I often feel that every industry should do that for the youth before they actually pursue their studies. And also, of course, in that time, it's your time to shine. And often that is when companies might give you a bursary because they can see that you've got that aptitude. So then you moved into the third phase of Go for Gold, the higher education phase. So what did you land up studying, and what kind of academic progress have you made since you entered your tertiary phase back then?
Yeah, so I got the bursary from Avenge Clinica for 1 year. So they fully paid my first year of studies, which was really amazing. And I was so grateful I got to live outside of homes. I lived on like a res type situation. And yeah, it was really amazing. And I studied civil engineering at CPUT. And yeah, a lot of my Go for Gold peers were also accepted there. So at least in the classroom, there was quite maybe one or two Go for Gold students that I knew already. So that was a plus for me. And like you said, that exposure during your work internship here, it really opens your mind. So you understand certain concepts already before. And so when they introduce the theoretical part of the industry, you're like, no, I remember this, what happened on site. And you can, just you correlate your history with what you're learning. So that's what happened. And so I finished my national diploma in civil engineering. And then I decided that I wanted to continue further with my studies, but I was working. So I ended up working in consulting for a company called Oricon. And then they gave me a bursary to study with UNISA part-time. And so I completed my BTEC last year in 2024. So I have a BTEC in civil engineering.
Wow, congratulations. That's really amazing. That's really amazing. No, and now you're working at Stefanuti Socks. What are you doing at Stefanuti Stocks?
That's why, one's career can shift and move in so many ways. So, like I said, I done my work internship at Avenge Grinica. Then I ended up working for a global engineering firm called Oricon at the time. And I found myself in the structural department at Oricon. And then so I was a structural technician doing rebar detailing, a little bit of engineering design work, and then 3D modeling. And with the 3D modeling, I got exposed to BIM, which is Building Information Management or modeling. And I was like, okay, the management saw that I was really good with, BIM, because BIM has everything to do with information and how you manage it. And in that space, it was, coordination of 3D models, for example, so the mechanical models, the electrical models, and you then check as a structural technician, you would then check, where do we need the openings in the floor, for example. But I got quite into that coordination part, and then Stefanuti Stocks had an opportunity for a digital delivery coordinator, and I applied for that job and I got it. And I think that, yeah, it's a really great space because from working in construction, going to consulting, and now back in construction, I've got sort of like a bigger picture of the industry. How do things work in the design phase versus how things work in the construction phase, and how you can incorporate digital tools in your construction workflow. And that's my job basically. So I do coordination, I do training for digital tools in construction, and then I also see how can we work better with digital tools, and that is my job, and it's quite exciting. It's very new, so my challenges are it's a digital disruption, so I'm trying to make people think in different ways, do things in a different manner, and that is the opportunity there, and that's what I do. Yeah.
Wow, that sounds really exciting. A lot of innovation and inspiration to take you to places to actually make everything more efficient for the company. And I mean, Stefanuti Stocks is one of Go for Gold's most valuable companies, and I'm sure they are really enjoying you as an asset. And there's nothing better than seeing our students at our dinners, for example, and they stand up at the different tables, and you can see how all the Go for Gold alumni are embedded in industry. And would you say that it's a definite must that Go for Gold should grow and possibly spread to other provinces?
Oh, yes, definitely. When I don't just think about Cape Town, think about South Africa, we all in this together, and as a nation, we need to progress, and it's not going to be just Cape Town, Western Cape. No, we need the whole of South Africa. There are children that want more out of life, and it's not just in Cape Town. So that's why I'll definitely say yes, Go for Gold needs to expand. And these interviews we're doing, I'm hoping that it does reach, students in other areas so that they can see, there are opportunities out there for me. I do not need to end up being unemployed, relying on SASSA. Some people still have that mindset, and that's what I hate, and this is what I want to shift. There are opportunities for us, and Go for Gold should definitely expand.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, our belief is that there's many students out there that have the ability, they just don't have the opportunity. So we always try and motivate the younger students that want to join the program. I mean, this year we had over 300 applications of kids that want to join the program. Go for Gold's immediate need right now is to recruit companies countrywide, so that we can possibly expand the program. But Gauri, you're an absolute inspiration, and thank you for taking the time to be an inspiration to all those that are going to watch this video. And I can't wait to see where you go next.
Yes, thank you so much, Gordon. Thanks for having me. And I want to also say, I would like to, I hope that the current Go for Gold students see this interview as well. And they see this and they see that, wherever you are right now, there's still a bright future for you. And don't ever lose hope. Continue working hard and you will get where you need to be.
Oh, that's brilliant and spot on. Absolutely spot on. Thank you so much, Gauri.
Thank you.
Chat to you soon. Goodbye. That concludes our interview today. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay tuned for more feel-good stories in future. For more information, please visit www.goforgold.org.za. Thank you and goodbye for now.